Good day, everyone. This is Nerissa Sorbito, and I'm here to tackle about late childhood and adolescence. But first, let us discuss about late childhood. So, in late childhood, there are three development, which are physical, cognitive, and socio-emotional development.
Every stage of development of human life has its own unique qualities and significance. Late childhood extends from the age of 6 years to 12 years, beginning with the child's entry into formal schooling and ending in the advent of puberty. At this stage, children acquire the rudiments of knowledge that are considered as essential for successful adjustment to adult life. The stage of late childhood is a sort of pseudo-maturity because at this stage, the child has achieved a good degree of adaptation to his or her environment as compared with the children of the early childhood stage. New interests develop for the child, and besides some maturity in sex, the child also develops a certain amount of physical and mental growth. Here are the physical development of late childhood. First, growth and body changes. The body proportion become thinner and slimmer, muscles become bigger and stronger, lung capacity gives greater endurance and speed, changes in height and weight, and brain development. So in the height, the annual increase in height during late childhood is 2 to 3 inches or 5 to 6 centimeters. And in weight, annual increase during school age is 3 to 5 pounds. Girls are maturationally ahead of boys throughout late childhood. Brain development, like other physical growth, brain growth reaches 90% of its adult brain width. During school age is slow and steady. Between 2.5 to 10 years, the brain grows only 15%. We come now to the cognitive development of late childhood. So first, the use of language as communication tool. Perspective thinking, wherein a 5 to 8 years old can already recognize others' perspectives, can't assume the role of the other. An 8 to 10 years old can recognize difference between behavior and intent. And a 10 to 11 years old can accurately recognize and consider others' viewpoints. Concrete operations, accurate perception of events, rational, logical thought, concrete thinking, reflect upon self and attributes, understands concepts of space, time, and dimension, and can remember events from months or years earlier, more effective coping skills, and understands how his or her behavior affect others. And lastly, let's move on to socio-emotional development of late childhood. At this period of socio-emotional development, children are spending less time in their home. The bulk of their time is spent outside the home, either alone or with other children, rather than with adults. Moreover, this development is one of the most widely recognized characteristics of this period is the acquiescence of feelings of self-competence. The industry versus inferiority is developed in this stage. According to Erickson, children in middle and late childhood are very busy or industrious. They are constantly doing, planning, playing, getting together with friends, and achieving. We come now to adolescence stage. Adolescence is the transitional stage from childhood to adulthood that occurs between ages 13 to 19. The physical and psychological changes that take place in adolescence after start earlier during the preteen or tween years between ages 9 and 12. Adolescence can be a time of both disorientation and discovery. Most teens have a relatively egocentric perspective on life, a state of mind that usually abates with age. Adolescence may appear to be a turbulent time. It's also a period of great potential as young people engage more deeply with the world around them. Adolescents typically grow physically, try new activities, begin to think more critically, and develop more varied and complex relationships. Let's find out the physical development in adolescence in both gender. First, let us start with the female. Breast will start developing. This is the first visible sign that puberty is starting. A growth spurt occurs. Some parts of the body, like the head, face, and hands, it might grow faster than limbs and torso. Girls grow 5 to 20 cm and they usually growing at around 16 to 17 years. The body shape will change. For example, a girl's hip will widen. The external genitals or vulva and pubic hair will start to grow. Pubic hair will get darker and thicker over time. Hair will start growing underarms. A clear or white discharge from the vagina starts several months before the period. And lastly, the period or the menstruation. We come now to the male's physical development. First, external genitals will start to grow. Pubic hair will start to grow, get taller, chest and shoulders broaden, minor breast development. Hair will start growing under the arms, face, and the rest of the body. Hormone testosterone is produced, start having erections and ejaculating, and lastly, the larynx or the Adam's apple will become more obvious. Let's move on to the cognitive development. Cognitive development refers to changes in the brain that prepare people to think and learn. Just as in early childhood, brains in adolescence undergo a lot of growth and development. These changes will reinforce adolescents' abilities to make and carry out decisions that will help them thrive now and in the future. The brain grows and strengthens itself in 3 ways. First, growing new brain cells. Adolescence is one of the few times in which the brain produces a large number of cells at a very fast rate. In fact, the brain creates many more cells than will be needed. The extra brain cells give adolescents more places to store information, which helps them learn new skills. Second, pruning some of the extra growth. The disadvantage of having extra brain cells is that they also decrease the brain's efficiency. As adolescents go to school, live, and work, the brain trims down the extra growth based on the parts of the brain the adolescent actively uses. This pruning process creates a brain structure that enables adolescents to easily access the information they use most. And lastly, strengthening connections. The connections between brain cells are what enable the information stored in the brain to be used in daily life. The brain strengthens these connections by wrapping a special fatty tissue around the cells to protect and insulate them. These changes help adolescents recall information and use it efficiently. We come now to the socio-emotional development of adolescence. In early adolescence, the teen begins to acquire a reflective idea of oneself, not only in terms of the immediate present, which younger children also see, but in terms of their past and their future. This development requires self-thought or introspective thinking along generalized ideas, such as in thinking that one is bright, flexible, and intelligent. From self-image, there is the all-important value known as self-esteem. Developing self-esteem includes appreciation of one's self or self-love. Potential endowment can be developed a great extent through family formation, school education, and social influence, and the personal attitude and will to grow depends on the individual. Second, the friendship and intimacy. Acquaintance who meet periodically, companions who share common interests through regular contacts, and intimates or best friends with depth of self-disclosure, feeling, caring, romantic partners in intimate heterosexual relationship. We have 4 phases in the attainment of an identity status. First, identity foreclosure. This is the case of an adolescent who is a follower, finding security in others, not in his or herself. Second, moratorium. This is the case of an adolescent searcher. Third, identity achiever. This is the point where the adolescent fully finds himself or herself. And lastly, the identity diffusion. This is the case of the adolescent failing to find himself or herself.
And that's all for today's video. Hope you'll be able to learn something about the discussion.